This past May, I was in Anaheim, California, and I surprised Danielle Scott Aruda at the USA Women's Olympic Volleyball practice. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever done, and she was one of the most surprised people ever. And at the end of that practice, I got a chance to visit with her, and we took this picture that you're seeing now. And I told her, I said, Danielle, you're going to make it. I said, I'm not a volleyball coach, but there were 25 people trying out for 12 spots, and I knew that day that she would make it. And so you did. Do you remember how surprised you were when you saw me?
I was surprised, and it had been such a long time. I was like,
well,
I had to clear my eyes and make sure it was you.
I went by, and she said to me, Danielle's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and super polite, and a great representative of the sport of volleyball. Forget just Baton Rouge and Louisiana and being an American.
Oh,
all the above.
Thank you.
But she was just being polite to a stranger. So she says, hi. And I remember I said, oh, hi. Is hi all you got? And she was like, so anyway, I also looked this up. The United States, I didn't look this part up. The United States won the silver medal for this second consecutive Olympics. But I also went back to go see how many Olympians had been in 5 or more Olympics. Now, for starters, her first one was in '96. Now, what I was surprised to find out was there's tons of them who have been like in 10, 9, 8, but they are not, pardon me, they're really not the real athletes.
Wait, 10, 9, 8
Olympics?
Really?
Equestrian, shooters, archers,
okay,
that kind of
so what
stuff.
I was told that there were 11.
Who had been in 5 or more?
Who'd been in 5 or more.
Yeah, well, maybe.
And they were, like you said,
Yeah.
shooters or equestrians besides.
And maybe I probably it was maybe confusing what I read, but there weren't.
Besides 5-time Olympian Teresa Edwards,
right.
She did basketball.
Basketball. And there have been, like Merlene Ottey, I think, was in, she was in quite a few Olympics running for Jamaica, for example.
Okay.
You know, but.
Oh, that was, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that was just for the United States. There were 11 for the United States who had done 5 or more Olympics.
But I thought, I mean, I was amazed. Okay, so Danielle is just short of her 40th birthday. She'll be 40 on October 1st, so happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
I know. But, okay, so, and for those of you who don't know her, let me tell you a couple things. And let me point out, too, she brought her silver medals from Beijing and from London.
Do the Vanna White.
Yeah, there you go.
I just got my nails done.
We can show you a close-up of those in a little bit. She played volleyball at Woodlawn High School, went to Long Beach State, 1993 national champion, NCAA Player of the Year. About 10 years later or more, voted one of the 6 greatest NCAA players of all time. Go to your first Olympics. This just seems forever. 1996 Atlanta.
Yes.
You
At
know?
home. That's a great place to be for your first Olympics.
What are your memories from that one?
That we have, especially after participating in so many others afterwards or just completing internationally, that we had a home court, you know, that people are actually cheering for us versus so many against us all the time. So that was really nice. And the village, how quaint it was, and the entertainment they had. The food was actually good, you know, because it was in America. And just those expectations of doing well and being in the first Olympics, just that awing thing. Yeah.
1996. I had to go back and look it up because I couldn't remember which was 2000, and it was Sydney.
Sydney.
Right? What are your memories of Sydney?
I love Sydney. That actually, for some reason, I'm not sure exactly why, is one of my favorite Olympics. Maybe just because how it was all set up, and our team was a young team with only 2 returning veterans, and we just played out of our minds and ended up competing for the bronze. We went on to lose, but that was just a great journey and great momentum going into the games and doing better than people expected. Of course, we expected that we would do well, but.
Right. So this travel log continues. And don't forget, this is a young lady who also has played professionally in Brazil and Italy. I have that right? Yeah. And
Japan.
And Japan. Got a husband out of Brazil, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get back to that later. So 2004 is Athens, right? Yep.
2004 is Athens. That was really cool and unique. It was the first time, though, that you didn't play the bottom 5 or 4 matches to play out the bottom 4. So that was one of the Olympics that I actually got to explore a little bit more, unfortunately.
Oh, you mean the city?
Right, the city
a
little bit more, because we weren't competing the entire time. And somehow my name got into the transportation, so I would just call up a car and say I'd like to go here, and I could go meet my family so easily and get back to the village in time, you know, with curfews and things. And so that was a really exciting time in terms of that. Our performance, not as great as expected. We had great momentum going in, being on a podium the last several tournaments, but just didn't do it quite as well out of pool play. Mm-hmm. So sometimes that happens.
No, in most athletes' lives, though, like in 2004, that would have been the end of it. Now, how do you know? She's already thinking about 2016 in Rio. So then there was
Let me tell you, our president, Al, he was pretty much retiring me on our way back to the village. He puts his arm around me. Danielle, I really love what you've been doing for the program. I was like, wait a minute, are you retiring me? He's like, no, this is after Athens.
Yeah.
And so it was really cute how after this last Olympics that I made the team, the roster, he sent me a little note. He's like, yeah, thank you for continuing on. You know, and again, I appreciate what you're doing. And he did a little joke about it. So.
Well, that's good. So in 2008 in Beijing, the United States won the silver medal. There's a couple things that are really significant about that. And in the semifinals, and I think my memory serves me correctly, there were 12 members on the team, and 2 of them were from Louisiana. One was Danielle, and the other was Kim Willoughby, who played volleyball at Assumption High School and later Hawaii. And the United States won the semifinal match 3-0, and Kim Willoughby had the game-winning kill in each of those 3 matches, through 3 sets, to advance us into the final.
Okay.
And then you won a silver medal, which was an unbelievable accomplishment at the time for our program.
Yes, that's very great that you have that memory. Did you look that up too?
No, I remember that actually because of just being a volleyball guy, you know.
Yeah.
And,
what I remember most about that is just getting into the semifinal match. We were playing against Italy, and we were down, and just having to fight our way back and get that momentum going into the semis, and then, you know, eventually making it to the finals. That was like the most outstanding part. And also more the people talking about the opening ceremonies, how great it was. We don't get to see a whole lot about it.
Did you go to them, to Beijing?
I've gone to all of the opening ceremonies and all of the closing, except for this last one. And actually, in London, we had to march in and march out. But as it was, we were stuck at a point where we couldn't actually get to the village. So we could have very well stayed and watched the performance. But that was the first time we had to go march in and march out. But yeah, I participated in all the opening ceremonies, you know, to get that thrill of walking through the tunnel and being with our delegation.
Yeah, you don't buy that whole it's tough on your legs kind of thing, standing up for a few hours and all that.
No, I don't buy it. But I mean, it depends on your sport. Because if you're competing early in the morning, which in our case we were at like 8 at night the following day, or usually 3 in the afternoon, you have a little bit more recovery time than someone who competes at 8 in the morning. So it kind of depends on that. But also the previous Olympics, we were able to sit in an arena until it was time to march over. This time we had to walk quite a distance. So I understand those who marched in and out, or even our coach suggesting that we march in and march out. So.
Got it. All right. Well, I want to talk about your coach and the other coaches.
Okay.
And it is a thrill for me to have 5-time Olympian Danielle Scott. She's from Baton Rouge. She is one of the greatest volleyball players in the history of the world. How's that?
Wow.
That sounds good.
Do I have to pay you on your table later?
No, but you got to bring your medals and show her rings. She has 5 Olympics rings and only has 4 of them so far. You didn't get. When do you get the next one?
The next one should come in before the end of the year.
Sweet.
Yeah.
When we get back, we'll talk about the 2012 Olympics in London and the next Olympiad 2016 in Rio, and Karch Karai, of all people, being named the head coach. She's Danielle Scott. I'm Lee Feinswog. This is Sports 225.